Have you ever wondered how we, Homo sapiens, a seemingly insignificant ape, ended up ruling the entire planet? How did we build cities, invent gods, create nations, and establish human rights? What makes us so different from every other animal? If these questions spark your curiosity, then you're in for a treat. Today, we are rediving deep into one of the most thought-provoking books of our time. Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind by Yuval Noah Harari. This isn't just a history book, it's the story of us. It's an epic journey spanning 70,000 years, and it will fundamentally change the way you see yourself, our society, and our future. So, buckle up, because we're about to explore the three major revolutions that shaped humanity. Our story begins around 70,000 years ago with what Harari calls the cognitive revolution. Picture this: back then, we weren't alone. There were other human species roaming the earth, like the robust Neanderthals in Europe and the diminutive Homo floresiensis in Asia. We, Homo sapiens, were just one branch of the human family tree, mostly minding our own business in a corner of Africa. We weren't the strongest, fastest, or biggest. So, what was our secret weapon? What gave us the edge to not only survive but to spread across the globe and, well, become the last human species standing? The answer is language. But not just any language. Other animals can communicate, right? A monkey can shout, "Danger, eagle." But Harari argues that Homo sapiens developed a unique kind of language. We could not only talk about the here and now, but we could also discuss things that don't physically exist. We could talk about the past, plan for the future, and most importantly, we could gossip. Yes, you heard that right. Gossip. Knowing who to trust, who was a reliable partner, and who was an enemy, allowed our ancestors to form larger, more stable groups. But the real game changer was our ability to create and believe in shared myths, or what Harari calls fictions. Think about it. Things like nations, corporations, money, and laws. You can't touch a country. You can't see a limited liability company. A dollar bill is just a piece of paper. Yet, billions of us believe in their existence and value. This shared belief allows us to cooperate flexibly in massive numbers. A chimpanzee Kuant convinced thousands of other chimps to build a pyramid by promising them a reward in the afterlife. But we can. This ability to unite under common stories, be it a religious belief, a national identity, or a corporate missionese, our superpower. It's what allowed us to go from small hunter-gatherer bands to building empires. This new cognitive ability propelled us out of Africa and across the world. But as we settled down, our lifestyle underwent another radical transformation. Around 12,000 years ago, we began the agricultural revolution. On the surface, it sounds like a huge step forward. We learned to cultivate wheat, rice, and potatoes, and to domesticate animals. No more risky hunting and uncertain gathering. We could settle in one place, produce more food, and support larger populations. This led to villages, towns, and eventually cities. It seems like a story of progress, right? Well, Harari presents a provocative counterargument. He calls the agricultural revolution history's biggest fraud. Why? Because for the average individual, life actually got worse. Hunter-gatherers had a varied diet, worked fewer hours, and were less prone to starvation and epidemic diseases. Early farmers, on the other hand, relied on a few starchy crops. Their diet was poorer, leading to nutritional deficiencies. They worked from sunrise to sunset, hunched over in the fields, and living in crowded permanent settlements with poor sanitation, alongside domesticated animals, created a breeding ground for diseases. So why did we do it? It was a trap. The shift was gradual. A little more wheat planting here, a small settlement there. Each generation made small changes, not realizing the cumulative effect. And once we were on that path, there was no going back. The population had grown too large to be supported by hunting and gathering. We had traded a life of relative freedom and variety for a life of hard labor and anxiety about the harvest. In a sense, Harari argues, it wasn't we who domesticated wheat. It was wheat that domesticated us. We became slaves to our crops. This revolution created the surplus food that fed the priests, kings, and soldiers, paving the way for the complex societies, politics, and inequality that we still live with today. The food surpluses from agriculture needed to be managed. How do you record who owns what? How do you organize millions of people who have never met? This led to the invention of writing and numbers, and the formation of large-scale political orders like kingdoms and empires. Humanity became unified on a larger scale than ever before. But this unity often came with a price. Empires were built on conquest, and societies became stratified into classes of rulers and ruled. This brings us to the third and final revolution, one that started just 500 years ago, but has had the most dramatic impact of all, the scientific revolution. For most of human history, we believed that all the important knowledge was already known, written in ancient texts, or handed down by the gods. The key to a better life was to understand these old traditions. But the scientific revolution was born from a radical new idea, the admission of ignorance, the realization that we don't know. This mindset shift was revolutionary. Instead of looking to the past for answers, we began to observe the present and conduct experiments to acquire new knowledge. This pursuit of knowledge, combined with the ambitions of European empires and the logic of capitalism, created a powerful feedback loop. Science provided new technologies, like better ships and weapons, which allowed empires to expand and conquer. These conquests brought back new data and resources, which fueled more scientific research. Capitalism provided the credit and investment needed for these massive scientific and imperial expeditions, with the expectation of future profits. The results have been staggering. In just a few centuries, the scientific revolution has completely transformed our world. We've unlocked the atom, walked on the moon, and doubled our average lifespan. We've created a global economy and an interconnected world. But this progress has come at a cost. The Industrial Revolution, a child of the scientific revolution, led to the destruction of ecosystems and the extinction of countless species. Our power has grown exponentially, but have we become any happier? This is one of the central questions Harari asks. Did all this progress agriculture empires, science actually improve human well-being? He points out that despite our godlike abilities to create and destroy, we are still struggling with the same basic primate psychology. We have modern tools, but medieval institutions and Stone Age emotions. And this leads to his final, chilling question: what do we want to become? We are now on the verge of overcoming natural selection itself through genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, and cyborg technology. For the first time in history, we have the power to redesign life, including ourselves. We are about to become the gods we once invented. But are we wise enough to wield this power? What kind of future are we creating? Will the super-rich upgrade themselves into a new, superior species, leaving the rest of humanity behind? The choices we make in the 21st century could shape the future of life itself. And Harari leaves us with a stark warning. There is nothing more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want. So, that's Sapiens in a nutshell. It's a breathtaking whirlwind tour of our entire history, packed with mind-bending ideas that challenge everything you thought you knew about being human. It connects the dots between biology, history, and economics to paint a grand, unified picture of our species. It's a book that doesn't just give you answers. It makes you ask bigger and better questions. It makes you think about who we are, where we came from, and, most importantly, where we are going. I can't recommend it enough. If you want to understand the world in 2024, you have to understand the story of Sapiens. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through human history. If you enjoyed this summary and it got your brain buzzing, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into big ideas. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What part of Sapiens resonated with you the most? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.